I come to you today with a wake-up call, a battle cry. You're alive right now, but someday you won't be. And everything you've ever been and everything you've ever known will cease to exist, and then it will be too late. I'm not saying this to stress you out or scare you, although I admit that it might. I'm saying this to wake you up out of the program that is using you, your mind, your body, your life to carry out its agenda. I realize that I might sound a little crazy right now, but let me explain. I promise you, by the end of this video, you'll not only be motivated and inspired to create a life that is a masterpiece, you'll also have the tools and the understanding of how to do just that. And in case you don't believe me that you can, I'm about to change your mind. Picture this. It's a cold, clammy December day in backwoods, Louisiana, and you've just been born into a life of poverty and servitude. It's 1867 and you were born black and female. And you were born to parents who were born as slaves. So your fate is pretty much sealed at this point, right? Things take a turn for the worse. At 7 years old, you're orphaned. You had to move in with your sister when both your parents died. And you have to work the fields in order to survive. Your life consists of back-breaking labor and taking abuse from your brother-in-law. This is how the story began for one of the most inspirational and iconic women in American history. This daughter of slaves went on to become not only the first female black millionaire in America, but to be the first female self-made millionaire in America. She went on to create an incredible business, but more than that, she changed the lives of countless women by teaching them how to make money, building factories, and by becoming an incredible philanthropist, using the money that she earned, using her wealth to create change in the United States. She was a powerhouse, and the ripple effect of her work and her courage and her determination is still felt today. I'm talking, of course, about Madam C.J. Walker, whose story always inspires me. The way that she was able to create not only a business, but incredible wealth in the middle of the harshest circumstances. The way she had the courage and the strength to transform being a victim into being a victor, a true agent of change, someone who creates their destiny. She is someone I look at as having truly created a masterpiece out of her life. So I share her story with you because so many times when I tell people that they literally can create anything in their life, that they can create a masterpiece, that what they desire can come into fruition, most people start to argue for their limitations, and they start to argue for why they are a victim and why it's impossible. All of the circumstances that they're living in which prevent them from doing whatever they want to do. Have you ever done this? Have you argued for your limitations and for your circumstances? Yes, we all have, right? But I challenge you to, from this moment forward, stop thinking that way, to stop believing those thoughts that come in. You might be in a position of privilege, or you might be in a position of the opposite of that. You have the right and the responsibility to break out of whatever system is keeping you down and keeping you imprisoned. And you are entitled to create a life that makes you jump out of bed with joy for. So let's talk about what I said a little bit earlier and why I'm saying that you need to break out of that system and break out of the program and the agenda, which might sound like a conspiracy theory to you, but that's not how I mean it in this context. Look at things truly, honestly. We're all cogs in a machine, and those machines are part of a larger machine. They're all systems. We are part of systems. Our societies are systems. Schools, religious organizations, our family dynamics, day-to-day routines, everything is a system. If you stand back and look at all of these systems, the way that they, almost in a hypnotic rhythm, work together to form a larger system, which is called your city, your country, life experience, the human condition, life on this planet is all part of a system and a program that is playing out. And in order for this system to continue functioning in the way that it has been, it needs people to carry out certain actions that are part of the program so that the system can keep systeming. So many of these systems are keeping people imprisoned. So many of these systems are old paradigms that we need to break and break out of by taking you as an individual out of this, which creates a disbalance and crashes the system. So Madam C.J. Walker was born into a system of servitude. She was part of many systems. She was part of the racial injustice system, poverty system. She was part of the shut up and sit down, stay in your lane system. And she actively broke out of those systems. Part of the reason why it's so challenging to make lasting change. As long as you are a part of the systems and a part of this larger system, you can't truly create a life that is a masterpiece because you are an actor in a play carrying out actions and lines that were not directed and dictated and created by you. So in order to create a life that is a masterpiece, key number 1 is getting out of these systems. By the way, you might want to take some notes because I will be checking to make sure you took action after watching this video. You don't think I put all this effort into making this whole video to have you watch it and not do anything about it? No, you're going to take action after this. So take some notes, write down what resonates with you, and write down what action you're going to take. Also, while you're at it, click the like button because that really helps this video be seen by more people, and I would really appreciate it because let's get the word out and break these systems. All right, key number 1, go against the grain. Reject groupthink, reject the popular mentality. In order to create the life that she did, Madam C.J. Walker had to break out of groupthink. She had to go against the mentality that she was assigned at birth. Now, this is a tricky one because when I say reject groupthink and go against the grain, I don't mean what's being passed as rebellious acts in these days. I don't mean dyeing your hair blue or purple, even though it could be a fun journey to go on. And I certainly don't mean becoming a keyboard warrior and parroting whatever you saw on TikTok or your news station of choice. Because let's be real, that's not activism or rebellion. That's conformity to an agenda while pretending that you're doing something. I mean pushing yourself out of this whole system altogether by getting to the core of what is really true for you. Asking yourself how you truly feel and getting to the core of what you believe and why you believe it. And who taught you these things? Where did they come from? Where did your beliefs initially originate? Did it come from friends, a crush that you had on someone years ago who implanted these beliefs in you? Did it come from your parents? Is it early childhood programming? Is it the opposite of that? Are your beliefs and standards a result of you trying to rebel against your parents? Are they your core beliefs? Go deeper and keep asking yourself these questions to get to the bottom of it. Don't censor yourself. Don't stop and don't reject whatever you're hearing, even if the answers that you get from these questions are something that you don't like and you didn't want to hear. Even if you end up hating the answers, there's no shame in truth, in vulnerability, in uncovering your core. Shame comes from the outside. It's a means of control and we're going to reject it. And by the way, refusing to feel shame no matter what you uncover is a radical act. That's already you breaking out of that system of overt control via shame. So when you did this deep dive, what did you uncover? What do you truly believe? Who and what are you? What are your core views on money, life, people? All of it. That leads us into key number 2, which is you taking everything you just uncovered about yourself and measuring it up to your life and your daily experience. Comparing it to what you truly believe, what is at your core, to how you're living your daily life. How does it measure up? Are you in alignment with what your core truths are, not your surface level stuff that you've been saying and showing? Are you living in alignment? Are you creating your life, your circumstances, your relationships from a place of core truth? Are you creating from the heart or the mind? And how much is your ego involved in all of this? The truth is, even the most seemingly benevolent acts can be ego-driven. So much of spirituality, so much of charity is just an ego-driven agenda. It's a program, and your mind is like the most powerful computer which can run any program. You have within you the capacity to create entire worlds. Don't waste your time running old, shitty programs. And if you're currently contributing your time, your focus, your attention, your energy, your money, your life to movements, beliefs, agendas, experiences that go against your core truth, you will always be miserable. That's a guarantee. And that's what I mean by you're running a program. You're contributing your focus, your action, and your attention to something that is out of alignment with your core truth. That's a program. That's how you know you're in a program. And the reason you'll always be miserable doing that is because you're lying to yourself. You're giving up your power and your authority to something outside of you, to something else, to someone else. And once you've woken up to who you truly are at your core, continuing in the way that you have been is a betrayal of the self. And a betrayal of the self is the worst betrayal of all. So stop it. Do a real audit of where your time and energy and focus really goes. And make a commitment from this point forward that you will only give your focus and time and attention, money, energy, emotions to the experiences that align with your core true self, with your core truth. Anything that feels off or icky, you're gonna stop. You're no longer doing that. Even if this means cutting off groups, people, experiences that make you feel that way, that pull you back into that program that no longer resonates, you're gonna have to do it. You're going to have to cut these people out of your life. Cut these experiences and groups out of your life. Sadly, so many of the movements and the groups that we championed a few years ago have become so toxic. And the only way to change the course of where this is all going is to withdraw your attention from it. Your attention, your focus is the most valuable currency. And that is how you create change in your life, by withdrawing your focus from anything that is getting in the way of you creating your life as a masterpiece. Anything that is making you miserable no longer gets your attention. Anything that is not in alignment with where you're going and who you truly are no longer gets your attention. And key number 3 is becoming an active co-creator of your life. Now that you have gotten to your core truth, realigned with who you are, and stepped out of the program, rejected the things that are out of alignment with you, you are now going to actively co-create your life experience. The first tiny shift you're going to make is, and this is cliche at this point, but it's cliche for a reason, you're going to constantly bring yourself back to the present moment. Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about a statistic: 67% of people in the United States reach for their phone when they first wake up. When you do that, you are starting your day off by entering the matrix, so to speak, because you're looking at notifications, news, things. You are putting your focus and attention outward already. So you're going to stop doing that. Instead of starting your day off that way, you're going to start your day by setting an intention and getting in tune with who you truly are. I have a whole practice that I created around this. I'll link to it below. But in addition to that, you're going to create some very specific goals for yourself. These goals are going to be aligned with who you are at your core, where you want to go, what you want to create in your life, and what you want to create in the world. You're going to think about what your legacy and your legend is going to be once you're gone. Create your goals around that. Once you have 1, 2, 3, just a few big value goals, we're going to call them value goals because they are based on your values. Once you have those, you have a North Star, something to reach towards. You're going to create parameters for yourself and your life around these goals, based on these goals. To make this easy for you, I'm going to suggest you view this as this big, grand adventure game that you are a part of. So the value goals that you just created are the things that you are heading towards. Those big value goals are how you win this game. The parameters that you create around these goals and based on these goals are the rules of the game, constraints of the game. You make up the levels where you determine how you go to the next level. Now, once you've created all of these things for yourself, you're going to write it on a sheet of paper and you're going to start every day with tuning in to what those value goals are, what your parameters are, what your rules are, and what level of the game you're in right now. If you do all of these things I just talked about, you will have created a framework, a blueprint for creating a life that is truly a masterpiece. Most people will have watched this video, think, oh, that's nice, or oh, that's idiotic, and move on. A few people will be fired up for a day or two and write things down, and then they'll forget. It'll be in a drawer somewhere. What will you do? How will you treat this wake-up call? Because you could take what I'm talking about, you could take this energy that I'm transmitting to you right now, you could take what I just said and radically transform your life and radically transform your world and our world. please don't hit the snooze button on your life, because the clock is ticking and the countdown has begun. Step into your power and take your rightful place as the divine architect of your life and become a conscious co-creator of our world, because we need you now more than ever. And to make it easier for you, I created a video of a step-by-step morning routine in order to create your life to be a masterpiece. Click on this video, watch it next, and take action.